So thank you everybody for showing up to this Thursday Legal Shield and Field Notes webinar that we do. Today, I guess I can, you know me, I can walk into the woods and talk about anything. I don't know if everybody saw an email that came out that was talking about 24/7 call reception. I don't know if you guys managed to see that, but at least I wanted to explain what that is. And so, did everybody get that message by chance?
Yes.
Was it clear on what the, I guess, deal is and what we can do if you had the need for this? And
It
I don't
looks to
know.
me like an answering service, a 24/7 answering service. So instead of having an automated, you have a live answering service.
If you guys felt that you wanted to have that to where you can funnel people to, right? And funnel to a specific number and have basically a receptionist pick up your phone calls and then filter that over to yourself for $1.85. And there is no minimum. So some places would at least tell you, okay, minimum is $70 on the books so that it can cover the monthly spending, right? That kind of thing. There is no monthly deposit that you have to put down. You do have to pay the $30 for the number, the call forwarding, and the A2P situation, right? Because it also has to be done for that number as well. But that's just $30 a month plus what you get charged for consumption. So if you did 100 and something minutes, right, worth of call reception, you would get charged the $30 monthly flat fee, and then 100 times $1.85, which is that a $18.50.
Yes, your math is good.
So
1850.
yeah, so that's what it would be for you guys to have a receptionist and somebody to pick up your phone. I didn't think that this would necessarily be a product that like maybe everybody would have the need for, but management said, hey, this is good for everybody. So, and then I've had some people where they were like, oh, I didn't know you guys do that stuff, right? And so that's just something that we want to, I guess, get better throughout the time offering our services, you know what I mean? And just sometimes we thought that they're just more real estate or our other verticals oriented, but in this one, I guess it's more for everybody. Let me see. I think we got a couple of answers. When did that eat? Give me 1 second to pull that up. I'll be right with you.
I'm a little behind on emails too, but I haven't seen it recently. So
Yeah.
not saying I didn't get it, but I can't find it.
No problem. No problem. Let me see.
If I'm the only one that didn't get it, I mean, you don't have to take time now.
Oh, no. Well, being that I have access to my CRM, I should be able to pull you up relatively. And there you are. This went out December 14th at 6:33 p.m.
Did that go to the Gmail for Partridge at Gmail?
That is first dot last name Gmail.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
And I think you got one. It could have been sent twice, is what it looks like.
Okay, good. Thank you.
6:31 p.m. and then at 6:33. And it only has one check, by the way. So
what's the title of the email?
Perfect stocking stuffer for your business.
Okay.
Yeah. And then let's move this out of the.
Yep, I see it twice. Thank you so much. My bad.
Where did it go? Did it go to spam, or is it just sitting in your inbox underneath all the other?
It's in my email. I've been sick, so I haven't been on top of everything. So
I was just curious because sometimes a lot of people say to me, Jeremy,
it goes to email.
And
spam.
I sent out those emails to a database of about 2,600 people. I did 1,000 a day. I did bulk email. I did get about 600 people's emails where it looks like they're trash, but I was able to pump that out. Now I do know that our company has a Fieldnotes Ai, right? It's a paid email. So I'm pretty sure I get extra, like it's not a free account. So I should be able to send out a lot of emails, I guess, because I have a paid version. And so tell me, Cassie.
My question is on the emails that you got back that the email's no longer valid. What do you do with that?
Oh my God. So I
Do you remove those emails from your database? Do you put them on a do not contact list? What do you do?
that's the best thing to do. However, since it's a list of
Which
500
which is the best, to put them on do not contact or to remove the email?
I would, if you do not contact them, like with the do not email them, that kind of thing. Let's say you get a fresh, like for whatever reason, let's say the email changes, and if somebody doesn't do that, let's say within, internally, then I'm going to send out another email to everybody, and it's still going to not go through. So I would either move that email to the notes and say bad email and leave it blank, right? Because I might have I might have a good
Got
one.
it.
So I would move the email so that I have a record of it. I would keep it clear. But I mean, I don't want to lose the contact because at the end of the day, these are potential customers, So that was the thing. But
But you can't do that in bulk. So
well, so the way that I'm going to do this, so first of all, I have like close to 500, 600 emails in a folder, or 700. I don't know if they're duplicates because I keep on getting emails. I set up a rule in my inbox to where all the emails that come from this post delivery, blah, 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 I'm funneling it to a folder. That way I can just look at it all there and not have it mix in 300 emails from Microsoft talking about the same thing, which then makes it that just harder to deal with your guys' emails because there's an email tucked in there. So I first did that. Then I'm going to take that folder and, open up one, go and remove it, open up another. So that's going to cause some manual stuff to do. But I also am thinking of setting up the filter to where, not the filter, but filtering out all the emails that I sent that day, looking at the dates in which they went out. And if I see recent opens, then I can assume that's the email that they got, and everybody else that basically doesn't have any checks or doesn't have any emails being sent out to where they've opened, I can most likely assume those people are the bad. So then what I can do is maybe add a sphere in bulk to all of them and then create a fold like an Excel with just those people. And then I can play around in Excel, remove all the emails, and then put it into a different place and then re-upload that data, which will then have all the emails removed, right? And so that's kind of thing. That's how I think I'm gonna skin that cat. I don't know if I made sense with what I just said, but yeah. But for you guys, if you send out an email, like let's say you just send out a couple and you get one of these, sporadically, I would take that information, go into the CRM and either contact the person and be like, hey, I sent you an email and I'm getting an error. Sometimes people, their inbox is full. Like if it's a Gmail and they're maxed out on their space, it'll tell you that they're maxed out on their space. It's not that the email's not good. It's just going to say that that email is full, right? So you do want to open up the emails and you want to see what's going on, because the majority of the ones that I were getting were saying this email at this extension no longer exists, meaning he most likely changed company, right? Because it's a lot of real
correct.
estate.
That's mostly what I get as well.
Right. So in that case, if you have a phone number for somebody, that could be a good, how Kathy Lucas, she sends within her retention campaign on the first welcome email, she follows up with a text message saying something like, I sent you an email
Yeah,
too.
I do that. Yeah, I do that.
So hopefully, and she says that she does get people that come back to her and say, oh, no, that's not my email. This is my email. So hopefully that helps with that. But, that's not a guaranteed thing. People can still ignore the text message and say, I'm not going to give her my email. Then I'll start getting stuff all day long. So, but for the people that want it and want to have their correct email, they'll most likely answer that and reply back to it. So, is there any questions that you guys have? Let's start with that. We're getting to the holidays, and so I do think this Monday, I don't know how, are you guys going to be around? Do you guys want to do, well, I guess different audience, but for the people that show up do you guys think it's safe to have a Monday session? It's still the 23rd. I don't know if people are packing stuff up and heading out since it's midweek, that the 25th, but what are your guys' thoughts? You think it's worth having a week off, or because it's in the middle, I could still, I think they're going to force us to work those days. So I'll be around.
I'm available.
Merry Christmas. All right.
I guess my
I'm
question is,
available.
are you packing up and moving out, Jeremy?
Moving to where?
I don't know, because if you're going to be home, I'm going to be booking you.
Yeah. Oh, on the 25th?
I'll probably be booking you.
Oh, no.
The 25th, I most likely will,
Well, the
just like
25th.
everybody else, take the day off, right? So and now that you say that, I should go block it, because last time somebody was like, I saw it available on Thanksgiving and I just set it up. And I was like, well, thank you for setting up a Thanksgiving message or a
Well,
Thanksgiving
it means a
meeting.
different date in Costa Rica, so it's
Well, in Costa Rica, I celebrate Thanksgiving just because I came with the holiday when I came over, and my family, they all look at me and go, "Where's the turkey?" You know what I mean? And so,
But if you're in the room, then the turkey's already there.
that's
Oh,
That's-
Bob.
a low blow, Bob. That's a low blow, right? And it's documented as well. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well, we
remember,
do
you do have a
swap.
meeting today, which I don't know. I could get sick all of a sudden. Magically, my power could go again, and then we
Yeah,
don't
I
have.
Yeah, well, it worked really well the last time.
Yeah, which I found out, which is so my son is the one that pays the like, we switched over services, and I was like, all right, that's your bill, you pay for it. And
Then he didn't.
he came home and he goes, but I didn't get an email. And I was like, listen, because he's newly, into the 18, like he's becoming a man, and and he was like, but I didn't get an email, and they should have told me that I had to pay. And I was like, no, you know your dates, you mark them down, you pay your bills, you know what I mean? So I think I'm going to do what Cassie does, is set up an action plan in my system, which sends him a message and be like, hey, knucklehead,
Time.
pay your stuff, don't cause me to get my internet shut down. So thank God he paid it, and it was like on in 15 minutes, but that was like at 8 o'clock at night. So I had to thank him for the 4-hour break. It was definitely enjoyed, right? Picking my nose, but it is what it is. So, but yeah, so going back to you guys, I can talk about something which is a new feature, which I don't think everybody might know the impact of what it is, but I feel that it is huge because I see other CRMs promoting this, and we don't necessarily promote it, but I'm just like, oh, but we can do that too. And so that's what I was going to talk about. But if you guys had something else that you wanted me to step on and discuss, obviously I'm an open ear to serve. So let's.
And if Cassie or somebody else that's on could verify, but I have an overlap with the Fieldnotes meeting on January 2nd with corporate communications comes out from in Arizona 9 to 10, but then there was another follow-up. I think they said 10 to 11. Is that correct, everybody, or did I get the times off on?
So I might be light on that day, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't mean to cancel it. I just see.
Yeah. I mean, well, when those things happen, usually it's like maybe just like one person. And so it reminds me of the times that my son would go to karate class and none of the other students would show up, and it was just my son and the sensei. And I was like, oh, he gets private class today. You know what I mean? So if that happens to be the question and it's just one person, well, hey, now you've got me, you've got my undevoted attention, and we can discuss whatever, issue you're going through. So I'll definitely, turn it into a positive for anybody that does show up. And
Thanks.
yeah. So
And I
guess-
honestly don't know what all the schedule's going to be, because there was, and I wasn't because I was driving, I wasn't in a position to take notes, but yesterday on the field trainer call and the Emerald and Sapphire call, they were rattling off dates of things are being postponed on the solution side because we never have our final numbers and things in time, and not everything's going to be ironed out. And, and I'm sitting here going like, oh, I don't get that, but that is how solutions has rolled for many years now. So I guess that's just the way it's going to be. So they were like talking about some things being postponed. So I honestly am not completely clear right now on what calls are going to happen when, but I would assume they're going to be posted in the back office at some point and be more clear, or they'll put it out in a newsletter in the next week or so to let us know. But network does a pretty good job of making sure we don't miss the calls. And on the solution side, they generally have it in the newsletter. So those are the two places I would look for what's the real answer, because I don't know right
Okay.
now.
So it could be the conflict, may not. So, all right.
Right.
All right. Good to know.
Beautiful. So, without further ado, let me bring up, and then if it brings up any other questions, you guys are always, so Mr. Bob Johnson, share the screen. All right. So let's go to, all right. So what's the new thing, right? I don't know if everybody has seen the new little thing, but then you go to your all contacts page, and it has to do with this. So let me just let that load. Most likely, everybody has, as it was from before, all of their views just listed at the top, right?
Right.
That has changed. What you can do now is you can pin 3 of these that you want to have there, right? And then it will obviously go to those. It saves you the time of having to go through your folders. However, that's only just with 3. All the other ones, you do have to go through the folders that you create. And so they're all going to live in your default. But if like I wanted to move this one, let's say new group prospects, I want to move into the DM folder by just grabbing these 6 little dots, you can move them into any folder you want, right? So you want to probably maybe step back a moment and think of all of these different views that I have. How can I put them into specific folders, right? So I can always, like, if you have holiday things or specific spheres that handle and manage specific messages that are going out, well, then you could have that all under one folder. Chip, I think Chip's on the call. So for Chip, I could see how he could have all of his, because he does a lot of, he has like 4 or 5 folders that he uses to make calls with. And he will take today's people that he puts into a specific view, he gives them a sphere, and then he can just go to that, and that view will just show those people. And then he downloads that Excel file, which he uses to push over to his phone dialer. And then he now has his dialer loaded up, the phone calls that he needs to make. And then he has that list in front of him, and side by side, as his dialer starts to do the dialing for him, he basically just has to plug in that person's phone number or first or last name. I'm not sure how he does it, but he can then quickly search the person, pull them up. Or if you have everybody, let's say it's just 200 people and you have this set to alphabetical, you could just say, oh, John, or let's say Rowan, just picked up. I have his account right here. Now I can begin to do, my phone call, that kind of thing. And then he has other folders in which he'll remove and just switch spheres around, which will then push those people over in to the necessary views. And so when he starts up tomorrow, he'll have the people that he's working on that day, the people that he worked on the past day. And I don't know how many days he does that for, but that's the way that I assume chops wood, right? With his phone calls. And by having either his views pinned for the ones that he uses the most, or he'll just have to basically put all those views into a specific folder and then just manage it from there, which it should allow him to have all of those types of views under one folder, any of his other different types of views that he does for other different duties under a different folder. So I'm going to assume, if you want to focus and put yourself, okay, these are my calls that I need to do, you don't want to have a sea of different views that you have to go hunting for. Now you can just go to your folder, have them in front of you, access them, and keep everything organized. At the same time, you guys know that you can open up another browser with the same field notes. And so if you wanted to have that view, you could just have that view under one folder, the other view under the other folder, and that way you have multiple views in front of you right? That way, if you wanted to, not have to bounce back between views, that kind of thing. So you can do this really with anything. What I like to do sometimes is when I'm building action plans, I'll be in the action plans here, and then I'll have my contact list here, most likely with my own contact available, right? And then that way, when I do an email, I just immediately go to here, send the template out to myself, look at it and go, okay. And then I go to my inbox and go, love the way that it looks. If I have to share it with internal people just to kind of get the okay, hey, this stuff's going out, that kind of stuff. And then it saves me from not having to go between action plans or message templates. I can just, do that and then always have the action plan, because sometimes you'll put an email together, it'll look like crap. Once you send it to yourself, you're like, oh shit. And then you'll come back to it and then you'll make small adjustments. You'll send it again and you go, all right, well, it's not that bad, but it needs some work. And it saves you from having to bounce back through tabs. That's just my experience when doing stuff. And so if you guys didn't know you could do that, you definitely can, right? And I highly recommend it just because it saves you. But then again, if you're, like other people that have a million tabs open, it could get confusing. So definitely maybe just open up a separate window with your Fieldnotes stuff so that it's all in order. But that's what I do. Now, the other impact that I have gotten some immediate gratification. So we've got this contact that he's got like he does dog trainings for like aggressive dogs and that kind of stuff. And when I started to analyze his business and how he could better use CRM and tie everything into like one place instead of having 3 different places that he has to deal with all of his leads, I've been doing some, let's say, white glove service for him and understand that, right? So what we first did was obviously understand where he has all his different lead sources and integrate them into the CRM so that they show up in his leads, right? In his all leads. With the forms that we can create, right? Go ahead and with these forms that you can create, I created like 23 of them, but like 10 of them we ended up using. And let me show you that. And with this new way of having the folder system, so you can actually have, it's just one big folder, but you can save the forms that you've created. And if you give them specific referral sources, right? So what I did was each and every page has puppy training, boarding, and then like 10 different services. I created a different page and I created a different referral source for all of those, right? And then I also gave them a sphere, which this is called a group, but a sphere group tag. I created in this field also tags as well, because I can use both this to trigger and I can use this to trigger and I can use this to trigger as well, right? So I know it says buyer and seller, but that is for some people, the status one. But essentially it's this category right here. This one, for all the things that you've created, will show up here. So you can set these 3 different things. So if somebody fills in this form information, right, it's going to have all of those tags. It's going to come in with a referral source from a specific, right? And I would assume what you would do is you would put a specific landing page name so that it associates so that you can know. I just got a lead that came in from the questions, contact me, about page. Wherever you put that form on your website, you can basically give it this category. Then you can actually copy the URL in which that comes from, and you can paste it here, and it will show up as an additional note. I think it will show up in this category, additional information. It'll post, that's where that person filled out that form, so that you know 100% where this person came from. So with this gentleman, and I don't think there's a lot of you guys that have website. Am I correct? I know Rick Allen has his. I don't know if Bill or if anybody else on the call has.
Yeah, I
Bill,
do.
Bill, you got your own. Okay, so do you know how many people a day or in a week or in a month? Do you have the analytics of how many people that just by searching you, just by putting in benefits near me or whatever like that in Google, do people go to your website?
Not so much, it's more informational, it's more of me sending people there.
Okay.
Otherwise I would have to set up, all of my search and all that. What is that? SIO protocol,
SEO.
all that stuff, and or SEO. I don't know it.
If you did a Google My Business, right? Bill Butkovich, benefits, LegalShield, or just benefits, that kind of thing.
IAS,
And if
well, integrity asset services, or you'd have to do employee benefits.
right, so if you SEO that appropriately with all the different types of things that you could offer, and people, if obviously you got to SEO it, but it's not too much that I've seen that one needs to do, especially personally. And then there's so many good like YouTube channels that just lay it out in layman's form, like how you can create and drive traffic, right? So that's something that I've been lately just consuming for my own knowledge and to have understanding of this kind of stuff. And so that was the first thing that I saw when I was given access to this gentleman's website, is that he gets 400 on average clicks a day. And I'm like, and then he had a form within his little website builder, and I was like 63, and then it was like 63, and I think the last date was like 2023. So this whole year hasn't gotten anybody that goes to his that goes to his website, sees any of his products. They haven't filled out any information and sent it as a request. So I was just like, that's weird, because you get close to 400 and something 70 people a day, and it shows you the analytics from this day, the same year, and the other day, and he would get like 300 and the day 1 year ago, and then this day he was like either 100 clicks above or like 50 clicks less. But we're still talking daily. There was like 400 and something daily clicks, and I'm just like, it's crazy. You're not converting any of that into a client. You know what I mean? So I analyzed all the different service and all the different pages that he has. And in every page, he has an associated form that if it's talking about puppies, it has a nice little puppy title, and it has, give me your name, your message, your state, and zip code, and no, city and zip code. And so I think I did this no more than a week ago, and already he got one lead that came in from the questions form. So what he has, once I built out all of these, in his contact list, he has in his contact views, he has a folder that's called funnel. And in that folder, he has the 1110 funnels for each one of those sites. So if he wants to search his funnels and see what's new, he can just click the questions funnel, and it's going to take him to anybody that has filled out that form, and it's going to put that person in a view so that he can say, okay, did I contact this person? Where am I at in the stages of selling this, right? And he used to have to do this through the website, and maybe he's accustomed to logging into it and seeing that stuff. But when I went in there, it took me like 5-10 minutes just to figure out where I was. So that's downtime. You know what I mean? Having it all go into one CRM to where you can see it is super beneficial. So this guy now has 10, 11 different funnels. It's all coming into there. This is a person who pays a lot of money a month for leads. So all of those leads, instead of having to log into that lead service and using the templates there, it's like, let me just get that data into our CRM. And because he has our Annette feature, which is AI that actually reaches out on his behalf to those contacts, they're immediately within about 10 to 15 minutes getting contacted from our system, trying to do something which is called like a handoff, right? See if the person's interested and all of that kind of stuff, right? So that is something that other websites promote. They call it funnels and all of that kind of stuff. I don't know what I want to kind of call it other than we can do that too, right? It's just a matter of laying down the foundation, tying in our forms into your website. And if you guys saw how I did that a couple weeks ago, I just using Google Sites created a landing page, right? So if you guys don't want to go full website, you can just do full, just a small landing page that talks about a specific product. And, if you wanted to put that the QR code, or if you wanted to QR code it, you can, real easy. And so, it's something in which if you wanted to build that for yourself, like Rick Allen has a bunch of lead magnets on his website, right? And he drives all the people with his little business cards and his little meetings and meeting people. He drives everybody to his 30fold.com, right? And so that, if anybody has that in mind, can now create a folder with all of your different funnels so that it's just in one dedicated place so that you can stay on top of it. Other CRMs kind of have like a specific page, and then it shows like these little blocks, and it's like, these are the funnels, or this is the funnel for this is the funnel for that. It's I guess it's a different view going to a folder, looking at these, but once you click it and it pulls up who's there, essentially you have all the information in front of you, right? So if in this case, I don't have anybody from that funnel, but if I did have somebody, I could click them all, send out a message to them. I could start an action plan. I could open them up, go one by one, see where they are in the sales process. I can make edits to any of that, either in bulk or just one by one. So I just thought it would be super beneficial, right? This to help organize. But now that I see other websites, other CRMs promoting it as a feature, and I know that this maybe at a glance isn't screaming, oh, this is what you can do, but you can do this, right? And then have all your lead magnets in one place, organized so that you can deal with them. Or like Chip has his views that he uses just for outbound, right? He could create an outbound folder, have everything in there, and just that's his outbound, right? I know we've got Bob and Patty, y'all work together, but for the other people that have, I know Michelle Supke, she also is going to do this with her husband as well. So they're going to use the same CRM. This is a perfect situation in which they could have folders, or Bob, or I think his name's Bill, or Bill, and then Michelle could have her views. So whenever she's logged in, she can go to her views. She can look at what she needs to work in and focus on. Bill can do what he needs to work and focus on. And so that's another application, right? And that's just a couple of examples that I can think of the moment. And then to come later on, they're rolling out that same type of concept, but with the spheres and the plans offered and chosen. That way, if you have, let's say you have an all members kind of contact, you can associate all of the spheres or plans offered chosen. You can group all of those ones that apply to an active, so that when you're setting up an active member, or if you are going to do an upload, these are the spheres that I use to associate specific things, right? Because that's really kind of up to you, whether if it's products, whether if it's identifying what the person is, or some type of if they're a field trainer or that kind of stuff. I know Cassie has a lot of she uses her CRM for all of the trainings that she has to host, right? So she puts people into groups. She uses specific spheres to know who are what, like which contacts are part of what group, right? And that's kind of how she can quickly email everybody, hey, this is the time of the meeting, this is the link, right? She can use that, and then that should help her once this gets rolled out. She'll know that these spheres are the ones that I use just for that situation. So I'm curious to see how they're gonna do the UI. When I do get that, I will demo it to you guys prior, just in case there's anything that you guys see right off the bat. So that is something to come down the pipeline later on. But that's kind of like the same, not the same thing, but they're there to support, right? The views and to support you guys with when I put in a specific contact, these are the spheres that I need to either add to the person or these are what could, and it saves you from having to go to this list because yes, I have a list of what, maybe this is 30, no more, but I've seen people that have like close to 90, right? In both fields. So just imagine they have close to 180 different spheres that they have to scroll, scroll, scroll. And what I've seen is they've got multiple. They've got the same spheres here, that they have the same options here, and they're using some options for some, others for some others, and they'll come back to me and say, well, when I search this sphere for insurance agents, I'm only getting half of the list. And then when I start to look at all the insurance agents in general, right, you'll start to see that everybody's got multiple different spheres. Some are categorized with referral source, some are categorized with spheres, some have a plans chosen. And so I know if we can organize that and there's like some type of system to help you guys with not getting confused, you guys won't create redundancies and things like that. So, but that's this new contact view folder system. And I think it has a huge impact, whether if you guys aren't using lead magnets, but like if you posted something in Facebook, right, and you had different posts and things like that, you can also connect Facebook to this. And if anybody sends you any type of messaging and that kind of stuff, you could create a Facebook view, a social media folder, and you can have all of those things there. And then it's just a click for you to view, see what's going on, stay on top of things, and not hopefully let people just kind of get lost in the sauce, right? So it might not be everybody's cup of tea, but for the people that drink this kind of stuff, this is definitely going to help them organize and stay more on top of their contacts. And if you had more tools to help you shorten the gap in what it takes for you to get in touch with these people, get the necessary information in front of them. And if you're not using action plans to help you do that and achieve that, well, then you most likely have to do more work. You know what I mean? When you could be leveraging all of these little things. And so, yeah, that's, I think that's it in a nutshell. I don't know if anybody has any questions, Bill.
Yes, and thanks for bringing that up because one of the things I plan on doing in the next year is, well, before the next year, you and I are going to get busy,
Right.
is streamline my CRM because I have so much information, it's actually overwhelming. And then I also
Absolutely.
want to, as soon as I'm done, I want to touch base with you on the question I sent you for on the phone.
Yes.
But and people need to pay attention to that because, and I don't know how many accounts you guys have in LegalShield, how many group accounts you have, but I went to my accounts and they have a new feature in Shield at work that's enrollment below 6% that you can look at. So I pulled reports on all kinds of stuff. And I went through because one of my goals this next year is to increase my production by 100% this next year. Take it to the 20,000 mark in production.
There we go.
So I found out going through those reports and running numbers, if on average I increase my groups 1.5% in production, it'll take me to the 100% level. Just 1.5%. I thought I'd have to go 10. And when you start running the numbers, it's much easier than you think. And one of the things I'm going to be doing is what can I do better? What can I start to automate for letters to go out to HR directors at key times? Can you get this out? Here's some information, be good for the employees, and here's their benefits package, or here's their enrollment website. Because keep in mind, you've got a group of 100, 1.5% is just getting 2 of those people to respond and send you an app. That's it for that company. So it isn't as much as we think to grow the business. And this is where I'm really going to start to utilize the CRM a lot more. And you may want to call that new area you were talking about lead flow. Make it,
It has that application. Absolutely. Yeah.
So
And
that'd be good. I've been taking notes on more appointments I'll be setting with to go over things. So
no. That's good because it's, I mean, far and a few people, right, are given the tools. Like I remember, and I think Miriam, I think she's on the call. She had broken down in order to make X amount of money, she needs to contact X amount of people for the year for this product, for that product. Like she actually broke down the numbers. So she has a goal to work towards, right? And if we have a
everybody should
goal,
know what it takes to achieve their number.
right. And
And
that for everybody is different, right? You want 100%. Somebody over here could be just happy with 20%, right? But for you, in order to get that 100%, you're going to have to lean on automation. You're going to have to lean on that kind of stuff because it just could be a big task once you get to the accounts that you have. I mean, you're well above 500, 600 accounts. And
no,
you,
actually, right now I'm just under 400.
okay.
However, I will be pushing 500 next year.
So
So we're
you're
bringing
going to
on.
need a system. You're going to need a system
Yeah.
because in order to like navigate through all of that and not have a system and not have it organized, not have your different folders with different views for your flows and all of that kind of stuff, it's gonna get difficult, right?
Well, and a
It's
lot of people don't realize, and I can't get corporate to realize, they go, well, that only takes you 30 seconds longer. Okay, cool. But I do that 100 times in a day, and there's 50 or 50 minutes of calling time that's gone, which can be a lot of calls or a lot of things I need to get done. And
yep.
you compound that in a week, and that eats into your business production. And that's the key thing. The whole point about CRM is to give us more time for productive work. You don't, and this is where people get confused in the business. They're like the hamster on the wheel. Well,
Yep.
I'm busy. Yeah, but you're not going anywhere. They need to be in productive work.
And you're
And
doing busy work, just sending out emails and managing to do that when you could have a view of a group, or you could have all your main groups in one folder, highlight all 600 of them, have one good email that speaks to all of them. Or if it has to be individually, well, then still you're saving yourself that time. You know what I'm saying? Doing it
right,
in bulk
and
instead of doing it one by one.
right, and one of the things is contacting those that will not respond, and that's why I'm having my son code a program to take all my accounts and they'll be mapped into the program. So when I'm in Anaheim, I'll be able to pull up and say what accounts do I have in Anaheim and what ones aren't responsive, and then you know what? Don't answer me, but I'm gonna be at your door. I'm stopping in. So one way or another, we're going to talk. I'll take them a
I
gift, a
like
nice
that.
field cup with some, like I tell them, it's a cup of gold. Because I put a bunch of gold chocolate coins in there and stuff, and a $5 Starbucks card, and wanted to say hello. Start off on a nice note,
It's
but
it's
we're
creating that
going.
little relationship, right?
Yeah,
And
but we're
if you
going
can do that,
to
yeah.
start doing more in the next year because it's a lot of those. And that gets back to one of the things I sent you the email because
Mhm.
on my phone I don't just have, as you can see, it's the full.
Relatively big.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it actually opens up to like a tablet. But
Yep.
even on it, like I sent you on it, when I go to the funnel sheet, that one you have there's a funnel with the orange check mark.
Right.
Normally, you
That's
can scroll to the
filters.
bottom of that, see where it says reset filters, show results.
But
On
do
my
you
phone, I
think
can't
it's,
get to that point to reset the filters, and I can't use that to search.
can you check the zoom on it? Because if you're zoomed in a little bit too much, and I can show you with this,
I thought I zoomed out, but I could be wrong.
when you zoom in, it kind of doesn't do you any, right? It doesn't let you get, and then see, so like right here, I've seen it in some, let me go back and come back in, where when I do that, it kind of hides this below the
Right.
screen. And then I just have to quickly go, oh, it's because I was zoomed in. Sometimes people are like, Jeremy, can you zoom in for me? And I don't care. I would rather have you see it, understand, especially if I'm driving the boat. But then I have to remind myself, oh man, you got to get out 60, 65, right? And then it adjusts. So what
And
I
it
was
could be
doing
that.
was,
That's why I was thinking I might have been doing something wrong.
what I was thinking was to obviously take those screenshots over to the developers to see if they can maybe force the screen size. But then again, for the people that need to zoom in, right, I want them to have that capability, because sometimes not everybody's got like the phone that folds into a tablet type of thing. So, and if you can take some of your work on the go, which you can, right? That'll just make you that much more productive as you're sitting in a meeting waiting for something to go on. You could obviously be putting stuff together, right? And that kind of stuff. And so, but yeah, so I did want to, once I get a little bit of free time, but I'm still kind of communicating with the developers on the side in
Right.
regards to that.
Okay, I might have, and of course with the phone, it's sliding your fingers. There isn't another. If I put it in tablet mode, and this is what I just found on it.
Mm-hmm.
If I go sideways and then come back, it shrinks it. I don't know why, it's weird. But if I go like, you can't see it there, go like this, then go back like this.
Landscape to profile.
Landscape to profile, then I can get down to it to where I can see it. But if I touch the screen to move it at all, it jumps back to full screen. And then I have to reverse it again. It's much easier in tablet mode. Then I can actually get to it and hit reset the filters. But as soon as I touch reset filters, it makes the screen bigger. And I can't make the screen any smaller by sliding the fingers. So I don't know if it's something on
Are
my
you able
phone
to
because
screen
not the-
video? Have you
Huh?
have you ever done one of those? You can record your screen. Not only can you take a snapshot of your screen, but you can also
do a
record.
video of what you're doing.
Yeah, if you can do that, just to
I've never
see
done
that.
it.
I'll show you when we meet.
Okay,
I
I'm
can
not
show
the
you how to
most
do that.
technological person, so
Yeah, it's
Can
in one
you
of those
show
little
us
scenes.
that? Can you show us that where that's at? I remember you talking about that before,
What?
where you can record the steps that you're taking.
do the video.
So when you drop down your menu, right? So I have an Android, Samsung A
Good man.
whatever the thing that it is. And so when you drop down your systems menus, that'll show you all your notifications and things like that, right? You have to drop it down to where you can get to the like different settings where you see your volume, your Bluetooth, rotate, airplane,
feature
flashlight. Yeah, your features. And then you go all the way over to, oh, here it is, screen recorder.
Screen record. That's what it is.
So if you
And you
press,
can do that on the computer too, right?
you can, I mean,
Wow,
well,
there it is.
yeah. The screen recorder you can, like, so everybody's using Zoom, right? You can open up just a Zoom with yourself, record to your computer, and share your screen. And now, as you're just dancing around doing everything, it will record it. And then when you end the meeting, it'll download that as a file to where if you wanted to share that with somebody like myself, if that's what you wanted to do, you could do so. There's also Loom. Have you guys ever heard of Loom?
No.
No.
Yeah, free scale. Yeah, I didn't even know it was free, but you could try these guys out. And this will essentially do the same thing. I'm assuming you might have to get Loom for free, either use their install Chrome session thing, but I've had a lot of people send me like, oh, other technical people from other services. They're like, here's the Loom link, and yeah, it'll share your screen. It'll record you so you can explain your issue with whoever you needed to do.
Right.
Yeah. So that's yeah, so you guys here, I'll just take that and dump it into the chat for everybody. But that's what that's about. And so, alrighty. Well, does anybody have any other questions, any other, not concerns, but anything else that they've been kicking around that they'd like to discuss? I am
Yeah, I got one more.
sure.
We're coming up on the end of the year. Thanks, Jeremy, for all your help and for being there and doing these and just being a great resource. That's one of the best assets, I'll be honest with you, above Zoho and all the other things, is having you available and what you do for each and every one of us. So we do appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's
Truly appreciated.
that's
This
my
new thing that you. Oh, go
Mhm.
ahead. Go ahead, Jeremy. I apologize.
no. I'm just saying that's a little bit of like what I strive for in when it comes to services being available and help you guys, like Bill said, with the what is it? Zoho used to tell him, well, once you know what you want, just tell us. And then obviously for this charge or this, upgrade to whatever account, we'll then, get it out there for you. And Bill's like, well, I kind of have an idea. I don't know exactly what I need, and that's what Bill, I guess, gets the benefit with me is he can, in layman's terms, kind of explain what he's trying to do. And then I can, take that in to see, is that something that our system can handle? And if it is it something that we have to develop? Right. And I know it's always like, it's a good for the greater good. So I might as well as pay attention and see if I can get it, as like a new feature or something like that. And then not only does Bill get the benefit of it, but everybody else that really wants to, take their CRM to the next level, they're going to have all of these little features that they didn't even know would pertain to them. Right. And I know those other companies don't do that. And not just those companies, but there is so many other companies that in order to get in touch with them, it's send an email, go through their channels. For me, our channels are these meetings, my phone number, text. You can send me text messages, you can send me emails, and I answer them at all kinds of hours of the day, even outside of hours, just because I know how important it is for you guys to get support. And so, yeah, that's what I was going to say. But go ahead, Stella.
Oh, I was going to ask you, you were just telling us about this new feature that other CRMs are doing. Do you know when we might have access to something like that?
Wait, okay. So what I was talking about was other CRMs highlight the fact that you can funnel things from your website into your CRM. So through Zapier, right? Through our contact forms, essentially that is that. But a lot of people don't understand like integration, right? They don't know, oh, I can integrate my website to Fieldnotes. Yes, you can. There's a lot of those website builders that have direct connections with Zapier. So if somebody signs up for a new form on that website, Zapier can take that information, connect to our Zapier connection that we have with them. And then as long as you go through the appropriate steps and, map it out and test everything, it'll test with like a fake contact, or it will use the last contact that you have in the system, right? Generated, and it will show you that that person came from your website all the way to here to your CRM. And now, once you have that, right, now you can literally create the view, create the folder, and then have a view. And so by you just clicking on that view, it's going to take you to everything that comes through that specific channel, right? That way you can say to yourself, okay, this is week 1. Did I get any new takers? Did anybody fill out a form? And then next week you can sign in and look at it and go, did I get any new people? If you were smart, right, I would suggest creating an action plan, because all of those things like the referral source, the spheres that you can set up through the Zapier connection to show the integration, you're going to be able to view, right? So it's a matter of just opening up your columns. If it's a group that you're setting up, if it is the status column, right? The referral source already. So you'll see that here, but you could create your views to obviously single out all the other people that don't have those. And then so now you've got like what Bill said, sales flow view or your funnels, you would have it all there. And then those same characteristics, right? Categories that you're capturing, you use those as triggers so that when somebody does come in and has those, you can set up an email that goes straight to you that says this person just signed your form. Here's smart tag first name, smart tag last name, smart tag email, alternate email, primary contact. Like you can smart tag all of these categories into that email. And then now you all of a sudden got an email with that on the go. So if you needed to pull the first name and the phone number and call that person immediately, you just got the email. You most likely can write it down somewhere or copy paste it, put it into your phone and dial out and, be on top. That is the speed to lead concept, right? And so other CRMs promote that as like a feature. We not necessarily, well, if you speak to me, I'm going to tell you about it. But people, I guess they just don't see those things and say, oh shit, I can do this. For me, yeah. So, and that's some things that we're trying to get better on with the different types of features and then promote them as well so that you guys obviously can know about that. But I'm talking more widespread because the real estate people would eat this up because they usually have websites for themselves. They usually have contact forms. They use social media. So they they would have more of a reason to funnel everything into their one CRM because now based on all of these different areas, you could be sending out specific communications. Hey, thanks for signing up or, thanks for becoming part of the Facebook community, blah, blah, blah. And you could get the ball rolling, create that little fuzzy feeling. And if people like your page, like what you do, like your whole concept, well, then it's like just a hair step away from them purchasing or following any of the steps that you have to offer them, right? To get them to fall into place, basically.
It'd be
So,
nice, Jeremy. Field notes on the marketing side, so it doesn't make you any busier, ought to have something that's like a features page. And then in those features, they have a little link where somebody goes and just shows a real quick example of what it does. Because then people could go through and say, now that's a cool feature. I could use that. Plus, people that have the program already could go
Sure.
in and see if there's any features that you're not using and take a little look and see if that's something that could work for your business. And then we can talk about where to get more information on that and how to do it.
Yeah, I think we definitely can do better in that area, right? But it's gonna fall on my lap with some other people involved with the company. So no matter how we look at it, but I've been saying that for a while, right? And seeing that we could maybe do a little bit better in those fields. And it's just hasn't been something that we've touched, but definitely there's something that we can do there with that. So I definitely think of those ideas. But yeah, I mean, if anybody wants to discuss this personally for themselves, obviously set up a meeting with me. And or send me an email expressing your questions and I'll do my best to give you some more context behind it, how it can happen. But for this gentleman that we just did this, oh my God, I'm I'm like a kid in a candy store because from I think we got this set up like at the beginning of the week and already 2 days after somebody went to his website, saw it, gave us a whole paragraph of what kind of doggy issues she has with her puppy. So for me, I'm like, that's an open and shut case. That could be closed she hasn't replied to any of the voice calls and the emails that we've sent to her, but I mean, that's not on us. They've made consistent contact. So I think it's a good tool. Some people may not have the necessity for it, but if you are looking to step up your game and to utilize a website, then this definitely is going to be a tool that you be focusing on, right? And so that's what I had for everybody. I wish everybody I'll still be able to see you before we go into the Christmas day. So I will save my holiday wishes for you guys for the 23rd or whoever decides to show up. And so I definitely thank everybody. It was a pleasure and y'all have a great day.
Thank you so much, Jeremy.
Ciao,
We
ciao.
love you.
Thank you. I love y'all too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
No problem.